Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of May 19th, 2016, and one Chicchan or Serpent in the Mayan Zolkin calendar, with the Sun entering Gemini, Mercury turning direct, Venus entering Gemini, and Mars backing into Scorpio. And May 19th is one Chicchan or Serpent, and it carries the themes of unity, flexibility, fluidity, movement, creation of time, Kundalini, bringer of rain, the sky serpents, blood lightning, passion, the life force that flows through everything, the energy that connects our primal root electricity with our spiritual expression, and the transcendence of duality, samadhi. Serpents are important in many different cultures, from Kundalini of the Hindi chakra system, or blood lightning in the Mayan tradition, to the Greek serpent eating its own tail, representing life, death, and rebirth, often associated with Gnosticism. It represents eternity. In China, the snake is replaced by a dragon eating its own tail. In Aboriginal Australia, the rainbow serpent is the guardian of life, fertility, water, and other precious resources. And of course, the Mayan god Quetzalcoatl is the feathered or plumed serpent, the god of wind, the giver of breath, and also the creator deity when he descended into the land of the dead to gather up precious bones, which he sprinkled with his own blood to create humans. This 13-day period is an important time to connect with spirit, have faith in your journey, experience gratitude in the moment, and let love guide your actions. And before I get into the daily energy for one Chicchan or Serpent, on the 19th, all the planets appear to be moving direct from our perspective here on the Earth, with the exception of Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto, which are appearing to move in reverse or retrograde motion. Excuse me. And remember, the themes of retrograde planets are review of the past, reevaluate, reminisce, and we can see these themes being played out. With 4 planets retrograde, everything feels like it's moving slowly. So patience is its own reward. Mercury turned retrograde on April 28th, and it turns direct on May 22nd. So the beginning of this trecento would be a good time to avoid signing contracts or other legal papers, making any major decisions or purchases, or even taking a new job. If you can postpone these types of activities, the terms will be much clearer after Mercury is moving direct. Mercury retrogrades force us to slow down and pay attention to our lives, making us focus on the details of our daily experience. When looking at the retrograde cycle of any of the personal or inner planets, they provide information about a correction to our present course. And then we have Mars retrograde, representing drive and aggression. It's in Sagittarius, but Mars will retrograde back into Scorpio, the sign of its traditional rulership, on May 27th. Retrograde Mars in Sagittarius has us reviewing our drives related to our beliefs. And then in Scorpio, the ethics of our actions will be reviewed. Retrograde Mars can cause frustration as our energy to get things done is retarded, which can cause irritability and aggression. And, as a side note, when Mars is retrograde, it's really not a good time to start a new sexual relationship. Mars rules sex. And so if you are looking at beginning a relationship, you might want to wait until Mars is moving direct to consummate it. Otherwise, you would have the retrograde Mars as part of your, relationship chart. Anyway, retrograde Saturn, also in Sagittarius, delays success until perseverance and patience are learned. Sagittarius themes are travel, education, adventure, and expanding our horizons and planning for upcoming experiences. Saturn brings the details to the grand overview of Sagittarius. Saturn retrograde can be a real taskmaster that demands we take responsibility to review our beliefs while it's in Sagittarius. And then we have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto, again, It's the planet of transformation through a death rebirth cycle. And when it's retrograde, of course, it's about reviewing the past. So this is really a time of releasing anything from the past that's a burden to our new path. Pluto represents death, completion, and in Capricorn, it really breaks down structures to bring about transformation, which we've been seeing since 2008. So really the big change during the one Serpent Trecena will be Mercury changing directions as it moves direct on the 22nd, which brings us into the third stage when the planet is moving forward again until it crosses the line where it originally turned retrograde. During the third stage, we move forward with a revision to our previous course. So we entered the first stage for Mercury on April 14th, and from then until April 28th, we received information about an adjustment that needed to be made in our lives. And then Mercury was retrograde from April 28th at 23 degrees Taurus until May 22nd at 14 degrees Taurus, which is a time where we notice events that shift our thinking. And then from May 22nd to June 8th, we're in the third stage where we implement the change in direction from the awareness gained through experiencing this process. So let's look at the daily vibrational energy for this Trecena. May 19th is one Chicchan or Serpent, which is about unity experience through being flexible in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. I'm not going to be covering the daily lunar activities in these reports other than new and full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth daily Facebook post and also on the blogger New World Birth blog. The 20th is two chee or transformation, duality experience through releasing what no longer serves us. And at this point, we have the sun entering into Gemini, which illuminates communication. The energy gets very fast, highlighting intelligence and adaptability as information flows at an increased rate. On the 21st, it's 3 Manique or Deer, which is about taking action through being of service to others, while we have the Sagittarius Full Moon at 1 degree 14 minutes, opposing Venus and the Gemini Sun and merging with Mars. And full moons are a time of tension as the Sun in Gemini is about balancing thought, self-expression, which can include imposing a point of view on another, with the moon in Sagittarius representing a wider perspective of philosophy and mental expansion. And of course, of all the oppositions, the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity is probably the least challenging to integrate. Gemini brings curiosity to help Sagittarius' quest for wisdom and knowledge. We do have Venus in opposition to this lunation, which can bring pleasant energy for enjoying sensual experiences and rich foods, with a caution against overindulgence. The moon is merging with Mars, which can bring experiencing irritable moods and critical communications, with Saturn in Sagittarius, lending focus to the details, to a far-reaching vision of this lunation. Overall, the full moon, this full moon is optimistic and sees the big picture, although there will be people who express their beliefs as truth under this inflated Sagittarius moon, which may even be two-faced under the Gemini Sun, and with Venus and Mars adding to the tension, overindulgence and aggression may also be factors, particularly between the sexes. An open mind will help to navigate your interactions with these individuals if they're present in your environment. And the native North Americans, this was the full flower moon, as flowers were abundant and everywhere in May. It's also known as the milk moon and the full corn planting moon. The 22nd is for Lamont or Star or rabbit or Venus. This is about stability through being grateful for abundant relationships. And at this point, Mercury turns direct at 14 degrees 20 minutes of Taurus, heralding a time to implement the revision to our previous course that we became aware of from the information and experiences we had during the retrograde cycle. It will take a few days to gain momentum, but over the next few days, we'll feel an invisible attraction to begin our new journey. And then also on the 22nd, the Sun opposes Mars. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 180-degree angle between the Sun and Mars, which brings a day to watch the tendency to be assertive based on your ego. This can be a time of culminations when projects and activities reach fruition. It can also be disruptive when the ego is operating unconsciously and leads to people blindly asserting themselves, which in turn is met with opposition and resistance. Folks may be more irritable and aggressive under this influence, with confrontation seeming more likely. If you are interested in deepening your self-awareness, look at what aspects of your internal and external environment are sparking any irritation or anger for what attitudes they hold in your current thinking. Once you've unpacked this baggage, you might find out that what is making you mad is really of little importance. A lack of recognition of these undercurrents can lead to suppression, which can also cause illness and self-destructive behavior. On the 23rd, it's 5 Maluk, or offering in the Mayan Zolkin calendar, which is about empowerment through appreciating all of creation. The 24th is 6 Ak, or dog, being in the flow through enjoying family and friends. And at this point, Venus enters into Gemini. Which can bring a chatty, superficial quality to social interactions. Venus in Gemini can bring a carelessness in spending money for the rest of May and into next month before moving into Cancer on June 17th. And then also on the 24th, we have Venus in opposition to Mars. So then from our perspective here on the Earth, again, this is 180-degree angle between Venus and Mars, which is positive for stimulating sexual and creative energies. If you're involved in a sexual relationship that is going well, this can be a nice release of sexual energy to achieve gratification for both partners. If, on the other hand, there's problems with sexual expression in the relationship, this might be a point of conflict between the couple. If Mars's ego is not fulfilled sexually through Venus, the energy transmutes this energy into conflicts. This can come up as one person feels gratified yet insensitive to their partner's needs. A new relationship that starts under this transit can become a sexual outlet with little compatibility in other areas. So it's important not to make a commitment until the relationship proves itself. For people expressing themselves through creative outlets, this is a good transit for completing work that you have where you have a full latitude for self-expression. And then on the 25th, we have 7 Shuin, or monkey, in the Mayan Zolkin calendar, which is reflection through creating something new. The 26th is 8 Ebb, or road, balance through serving your community, while we have Jupiter in a square to Saturn. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is forming a 90-degree angle between Jupiter and Saturn, which brings energy to make adjustments in life, such as separating from people or circumstances that are not beneficial. This process is likely to come from feeling tension between Jupiter's expansion and Saturn's restriction through realizing what is inappropriate and becoming more in line with the sense of duty and responsibility. And Saturn is in Jupiter's sign of Sagittarius, putting more emphasis on contraction than expansion. This is also begins a time of having a mutable grand cross, which will be with us until June 8th, with Jupiter in Virgo, Saturn in Sagittarius, Neptune in Pisces, and both the Sun and Venus in Gemini. And as with all grand crosses, this can be a challenging time period, especially for people with personal planets between 10 and 15 degrees of the mutable sign, because this transit can bring confusion about whether to expand or cut back. This may be a good time to go off by yourself, as other people's advice is of little value. This also brings strong feelings of uncertainty and restlessness. Don't rush to make any changes, because often we do not have all the facts. And in financial markets, Jupiter square Saturn often creates restrictions, which some will resent and impulsively go all in response to feeling limited with less than optimal results. May 27th is 9 Ben or reed or corn. This is about patience experienced through maintaining the home. And at this point, Mars retrogrades back into Scorpio. After spending 2.5 months in Sagittarius, Mars has found its way back to the sign of its traditional rulerships. Mars in Scorpio brings persistence and intensity, but also emotional sexuality. Scorpio Mars is a hard-driving, resourceful, determined, relentless, purpose-directed, but it can also be displayed as jealousy, anger, resentment, and hurt feelings. Mars will be in Scorpio until August 2nd, when it returns to Sagittarius. And then on the 28th, it's 10 Ish or Jaguar, manifestation through enjoying nature in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. May 29th is 11 Men or Eagle, resolution through seeing from a higher perspective. The 30th is 12 Kib or wisdom, understanding through introspection, meditation, and forgiveness. While we have a Mercury in a trine to Pluto. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is forming a 120-degree angle between Mercury and Pluto, which can bring concern about the deeper issues in our lives. This has people wanting to dig deep below the surface to uncover mysteries. On a personal level, this can be excellent for inner work, so it might be a good day for some alone time to discover some of the deeper dimensions of your psyche. Communications may seem rather serious and profound. Thoughts will become more focused and gain insights about important developments. May 31st is 13 Kaban or Earth in the Mayan Zolkin calendar, and this is about movement to the next stage through gratitude for Mother Earth. So no matter what the energies that are affecting you during the one Serpent Trecena, take some time to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just being really present with somebody you love. Every day is a blessing, no matter what dramas beckon to distract us. We're all here just giving the performance of a lifetime on this world stage. Just take some time to observe your play as well as acting your part by remembering that you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the care and feeding of a new world age will be on June 1st for one Etsnob or Flint with the Gemini new moon, Mercury entering Gemini, and Neptune turning retrograde. And you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mayan Magics website. I encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. choose. And I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or you wish to schedule a reading. And I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So that I created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. Things have been pretty lean around here, so if you've been thinking about making a donation, please contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com. I'll let you know how you can make a donation, or getting a reading is another way to support us here and also get something of excellent value for yourself. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and look forward to connecting with you in the future, either in a video or a reading or some other way. All right. All my best, everybody.